Hey Raiders fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. MAXX CROSBY has officially become the talk of the town, and if you thought the Raiders were just another team in transition, think again. Rumors have been swirling for weeks about his incredible performance on the field, and now insiders are whispering that this season could mark a turning point not just for CROSBY, but for the entire Raiders franchise. Fans have been watching every snap, every sack, every move, and it's clear that CROSBY's presence is electrifying the defense in ways that analysts didn't predict. Word is that his intensity during practice, combined with a relentless work ethic, is pushing everyone around him to step up their game, creating an atmosphere where mediocrity simply isn't tolerated. Conversations in locker rooms and sports bars alike are dominated by questions about how CROSBY manages to maintain such a high level of play without faltering under pressure, and some are already comparing his impact to legendary figures in Raiders history. Every whisper, every rumor, seems to amplify the mythos surrounding him, making it impossible to ignore his growing influence on the team's dynamic. Fans aren't the only ones talking. Even rival teams are allegedly keeping a close eye on CROSBY. Sources claim that opposing quarterbacks are now adjusting their game plans solely to avoid his devastating reach and speed on the defensive line. Scouts from around the league reportedly spend hours analyzing his technique, marveling at the way he reads plays before they fully develop, almost as if he has a sixth sense for anticipating movement. There's also chatter about how his leadership, both vocal and by example, is reshaping the Raiders' locker room culture. Younger players are allegedly modeling themselves after CROSBY, hoping to mimic his discipline and approach to the game. Rumors even suggest that team management is considering extending his contract sooner than expected, recognizing that letting him slip away could be catastrophic. Social media is buzzing, with hashtags and fan accounts dedicated entirely to chronicling every CROSBY highlight, fueling speculation about whether this is the start of a dynasty built around his dominance. It seems that everywhere you turn, someone is whispering about MAXX CROSBY's transformative effect on the Raiders. Even casual observers are starting to pick up on CROSBY's influence. Social media posts from fans, analysts, and even former players hint at a shift in the Raiders' reputation, portraying the team as more formidable and strategic. There's speculation that this newfound respect is largely attributable to CROSBY's unrelenting energy, his ability to disrupt offensive lines, and his sheer consistency in high-pressure moments. Rumors circulating in sports media outlets suggest that his training regimen is being kept under wraps, adding to the mystique of how he maintains peak performance throughout grueling games. Coaches allegedly marvel at his preparation, describing it as meticulous, almost obsessive, as he studies tendencies, adjusts angles, and communicates with teammates in ways that create a domino effect on defensive efficiency. The narrative being pushed by insiders is that CROSBY is no longer just a standout player. He's becoming a cornerstone around which the Raiders are reshaping their identity. Conversations online, from fan forums to highlight reels, indicate that every tackle, every forced turnover, is seen as a statement not only to opponents but to the league as a whole. The buzz is intensifying, painting CROSBY as an unavoidable force in the NFL. Some whispers even go further, claiming that CROSBY's impact isn't limited to the field but extends into the Raiders' recruitment strategy. Sources hint that the team is now leveraging his presence to attract top defensive talent, with rookies reportedly citing CROSBY as a primary reason for signing or committing. Inside the organization, rumors suggest that team executives are watching every move he makes, analyzing his influence on morale, teamwork, and competitive drive, and considering ways to build a roster that complements his style. Analysts and commentators allegedly speculate that CROSBY could be the catalyst for a multi-year strategy aimed at redefining the Raiders' defensive dominance. Even among fans, conversations revolve around the idea that CROSBY embodies a new era, one where intensity, preparation, and adaptability set the tone for success. According to whispers in media circles, his influence might be more profound than any single game or stat line can capture, potentially redefining how the franchise is perceived. Every report seems to reinforce the narrative. Maxx Crosby isn't just a player. He's the spark behind a possible Raiders renaissance that everyone is quietly, or not so quietly, anticipating. The debate over his true standing among elite defensive players is heating up as well. Rumors suggest that former NFL greats are weighing in on his performance, often citing his ability to pressure quarterbacks and create chaos as unparalleled in recent memory. Social media posts from pundits hint at comparisons to historic defensive legends, further stoking fan excitement and league-wide intrigue. The chatter extends to rival teams, with insiders allegedly noting adjustments in practice sessions specifically designed to counter Crosby's aggression and skill set. Within the Raiders organization, rumors of strategic meetings and tailored defensive schemes inspired by Crosby's abilities indicate a level of planning that wasn't there before his arrival. Fans are buzzing with speculation about whether he could eventually become the face of the franchise, a player whose influence is so profound that it reshapes not only the defense, but the team's culture. Conversations about leadership, intensity, and game-changing plays are omnipresent, giving the impression that Maxx Crosby's legend is growing faster than anyone could have predicted, with each whisper adding fuel to the rumor fire surrounding his meteoric rise. Even beyond football circles, Crosby's name is generating unexpected attention. Rumors circulating online suggest that brands, celebrities, and media outlets are quietly monitoring his trajectory, anticipating a moment when his influence extends into pop culture. Analysts speculate that his combination of charisma, work ethic, and on-field dominance is creating an aura that could redefine athlete branding within the NFL. Sources close to the team hint at marketing discussions being influenced by his rising star, with potential campaigns being crafted around his persona. Fans, of course, are amplifying the buzz, sharing clips, debating plays, and creating narratives that paint Crosby as the defining Raider of this generation. Sports radio programs reportedly can't go a day without mentioning him, with callers and hosts alike speculating about what his next moves will mean for the team's championship aspirations. Every outlet, every whisper, every highlight seems to reinforce the idea that Maxx Crosby's presence is not a fleeting phenomenon, but rather a pivotal chapter in the Raiders' ongoing story, making this rumor a tantalizing narrative that refuses to fade. Whispers about Crosby's future are also fueling intense speculation regarding contract negotiations and potential endorsements. Rumors suggest that rival teams may already be circling, though insiders hint that the Raiders are determined not to let him slip away, seeing him as the keystone of both current success and long-term planning. Analysts and sports journalists allegedly debate how his presence could reshape the defensive landscape across the league, with some suggesting that his ability to change games single-handedly makes him one of the most valuable defensive assets in the NFL today. Social media trends and fan chatter reflect a growing belief that Crosby could soon be in line for accolades, recognition, and potentially record-setting statistics if the current trajectory continues. Discussions within the Raiders management reportedly focus on optimizing his impact while preserving his health and longevity, revealing an awareness that true dominance requires careful stewardship. All these rumors, whispers, and speculations combine to paint a picture of a player whose influence resonates far beyond the gridiron, suggesting that Maxx Crosby may well define the future of Raiders football in ways fans and analysts are just beginning to comprehend. Speculation continues to grow around Maxx Crosby, with insiders claiming that the Raiders' defensive scheme is being subtly redesigned to maximize his impact on the field. Rumors suggest that coaches are experimenting with formations that allow Crosby to exploit weaknesses in opposing lines, creating opportunities for sacks, tackles for loss, and game-changing turnovers. Fans are allegedly noticing these adjustments, dissecting every play online, and debating whether the Raiders are finally building a team around a single, dominant force. Word on the street hints at Crosby's influence extending beyond strategy. His presence reportedly elevates the intensity of every practice, forcing teammates to match his level of preparation, focus, and execution. Analysts allegedly whisper about how his relentless work ethic and disciplined approach could redefine standards for defensive players league-wide. Even casual observers are beginning to speculate that Crosby might be the kind of player who shapes not just a season, but an era, and the murmurs about his transformative role are echoing far beyond the Raiders' locker room walls. The buzz surrounding Crosby isn't limited to his on-field performance. Sources hint that his off-field demeanor is equally impacting the Raiders' culture. Rumors suggest that his leadership, charisma, and ability to motivate younger players are quietly shifting locker room dynamics, making cohesion and discipline a priority. According to whispers circulating in media circles, his teammates look up to him not just for his skill, but for his mental approach to the game, which emphasizes preparation, resilience, and adaptability under pressure. Fans allegedly noticed the difference, claiming that the Raiders' energy and confidence have visibly improved since Crosby emerged as a cornerstone of the team. Even rival teams are reportedly acknowledging that facing Crosby means preparing for both a physical and psychological challenge. Sports talk shows and social media are buzzing with speculation about whether Crosby's presence alone could spark a chain reaction, elevating everyone around him and reshaping the Raiders' identity as a franchise. The narrative that Crosby is not just a star, but a catalyst, is gaining traction in every corner of football discussion, reinforcing the rumor that he is the key to a new era. Whispers about Crosby's potential to change the Raiders' trajectory extend to the team's recruitment and drafting strategies. Rumors suggest that management is considering future acquisitions with Crosby's strengths in mind, seeking players whose skills complement his aggressive, disruptive style. Inside sources allegedly claim that rookies and free agents are drawn to the team specifically because of his presence, seeing the chance to play alongside a player of his caliber as a career-defining opportunity. Analysts are reportedly debating whether Crosby's emergence could herald a strategic shift where defensive dominance becomes the Raiders' signature identity. Fans online are dissecting every potential matchup, theorizing about how his influence could impact playoff prospects and championship aspirations. Even casual observers are getting swept up in speculation about how his performance might inspire long-term success, with whispers suggesting that Crosby's role in the team's evolution is far more significant than most people realize. The growing chatter paints him as a figure whose influence is both immediate and enduring, fueling excitement and rumor in equal measure. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Social media platforms are reportedly ablaze with discussions about Crosby's performances, with clips, highlight reels, and analytical breakdowns fueling speculation about his long-term impact. Rumors suggest that every tackle, sack, and forced turnover is scrutinized not only for immediate results, but as evidence of his potential to shape the Raiders' defensive legacy. Sources claim that broadcasters and sports journalists are increasingly framing games around his influence, hinting at the notion that the season's storylines may revolve around his dominance rather than any single team result. Inside the Raiders organization, whispers suggest that his preparation, attitude, and influence on the field are being carefully studied to inform future coaching decisions, roster changes, and tactical innovations. Fans allegedly feel that Crosby's presence is creating a ripple effect, one that elevates expectations for the entire team and raises speculation about whether the Raiders have finally found a player capable of redefining their identity. The conversation is growing louder, and the rumors surrounding Crosby are evolving into a compelling narrative of a potential franchise-altering figure in professional football. Rumors also point toward possible recognition and awards that could further solidify Crosby's reputation as a defensive powerhouse. Sources whisper that league executives and sports analysts are already considering his performances for top honors, including Pro Bowl selections and All-Pro accolades. Fans online are reportedly debating how his dominance could influence voting and recognition, fueling speculation that Crosby might soon join the conversation among the NFL's elite defenders. Even rival teams allegedly acknowledge the challenge of preparing for a player who combines speed, intelligence, and relentless effort in ways few have witnessed. There's also chatter about contract negotiations, with insiders claiming that management is preparing to secure Crosby long-term to prevent other teams from capitalizing on his rare talent. Sports media is reportedly filled with commentary suggesting that his influence extends far beyond individual games, potentially reshaping both the Raiders' reputation and the league's perception of defensive excellence. All these whispers feed a growing consensus. MAXX Crosby is more than a player. He's a phenomenon whose impact may resonate for years. Even the smallest details of Crosby's daily routine are reportedly generating buzz among fans and insiders alike. Rumors suggest that his training methods, diet, and recovery techniques are carefully curated to maintain peak performance, fueling speculation that this meticulous approach is part of what makes him so dominant. Observers allege that his consistency on the field, coupled with his ability to elevate teammates' performance, has convinced insiders that he could be the rare player whose influence extends beyond statistics, shaping the very culture of the Raiders. Social media chatter reinforces the idea that every move Crosby makes, from practice drills to game day execution, is dissected and discussed, with fans theorizing about what makes him so effective. Analysts allegedly compare his approach to legendary players of the past, suggesting that Crosby's combination of skill, preparation, and leadership is creating an aura that few can match. The whispers continue to grow, fueling speculation that MAXX Crosby is more than a rising star. He may very well be the defining force of a new Raiders era. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.